If you drink water the way most people do, your leg circulation could be getting blocked right at this very moment. And the worst part is, you genuinely believe you are doing the right thing. You drink your water every day, you try to stay hydrated, and yet your legs feel heavier, your feet get colder, and that tingling sensation just will not go away. I am Dr. Ethan Scott, vascular surgeon with over 20 years of experience, and in the thousands of patients I have treated, I have seen the same devastating pattern repeat itself over and over again. People who think they are taking care of their health, but are actually making 5 critical mistakes with water that are silently destroying the circulation in their legs. What I am going to reveal to you in the next few minutes could be the difference between keeping your legs healthy and functional or facing serious circulatory problems that could have been completely avoided. Stay with me until the end, because the 5th mistake is the one that shocks my patients the most. I want to tell you about Doña Maria, a lovely woman, 67 years old, retired school teacher, the kind of person who did everything by the book. She walked every morning, took her medications on time, ate her fruits and vegetables, and she was proud to say she drank plenty of water every single day. When she came to my office for the first time, she was complaining about heavy legs, swollen ankles, and a constant cold feeling in her feet, especially at night. I asked her, "Doña Maria, tell me exactly how you drink your water throughout the day." And she smiled and said, "Oh, doctor, I am very disciplined about that. I drink very little during the day because I am always busy, but every night before bed, I make up for it. I sit down and drink 4 or 5 big glasses of water all at once, because I know hydration is important." Sounds logical, right? It even seems like a responsible thing to do, making sure you get all your water in before the day ends. But let me explain what was actually happening inside her body. Every night, when Doña Maria flooded her system with all that water at once, her kidneys went into overdrive trying to process that sudden volume. Her blood became temporarily diluted, and then, just a few hours later, during the early morning hours when circulation naturally slows down, her blood would swing in the opposite direction, becoming thicker and more sluggish. This roller coaster was happening every single night for years. When I ordered her Doppler ultrasound, the results were alarming. The circulation in both of her legs had deteriorated significantly. The blood flow in her lower extremities was compromised, and early signs of venous insufficiency were already visible, all connected to years of this wrong hydration pattern combined with other mistakes she did not even know she was making. Doña Maria looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Doctor, if only someone had told me sooner. I thought I was taking care of myself." And that is exactly what breaks my heart, because her story is not unique. Millions of people are making this exact same mistake right now. And that is just the first of 5 mistakes that I need to warn you about today. The first mistake is the most common one, and it is exactly what Doña Maria was doing, drinking all your water at the wrong time. Most people fall into one of 2 patterns. Either they barely drink any water during the day and try to compensate at night, or they drink enormous amounts in the morning and almost nothing for the rest of the day. Both patterns are devastating for your circulation. Let me explain exactly what happens when you drink too much water all at once, especially at night. Your body can only absorb and process about 150 to 200 milliliters of water every 15 to 20 minutes efficiently. When you drink 4 or 5 glasses in a short period, your kidneys are forced to work at maximum capacity to filter that excess. Your blood volume spikes temporarily, putting extra pressure on your veins, especially in your legs where blood already has to fight gravity to return to your heart. Then, during the night, between 2 and 5 in the morning, your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops naturally, and if your body has already pushed out most of that water through your kidneys, your blood becomes thicker, more viscous. This is exactly the window when circulation problems do their worst damage. I had a patient, Sue Jose, 71 years old, who drank almost 2 liters of water between 8 and 10 at night. He woke up every morning with numb legs and thought it was just his age. After we corrected his hydration timing alone, within 3 weeks, his morning numbness reduced by about 70%. But correcting when you drink water will not help much if you are making the second mistake. The second mistake is something that genuinely surprises most of my patients: drinking ice-cold water regularly. I know, especially in a hot country, a glass of freezing cold water feels wonderful. It seems harmless, maybe even refreshing and healthy. But here is what very few people know about what cold water does to your circulation. When water that is very cold, below 8 degrees Celsius, hits your stomach, your body triggers an immediate protective response. The blood vessels in your digestive system constrict rapidly. This is called vasoconstriction. Your body literally redirects blood flow away from your extremities, away from your legs and feet, and concentrates it around your core to protect your vital organs from the sudden temperature change. This constriction can last anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes after drinking just one glass of very cold water. Now imagine someone who drinks cold water 5 or 6 times a day. That means their leg circulation is being reduced for potentially 3 to 4 hours every single day, just from water temperature. Over months and years, this repeated vasoconstriction trains your blood vessels to be less responsive, less elastic. I treated a woman, 63 years old, who kept a bottle of water in the freezer and drank from it all day long. She could not understand why her feet were always purple and cold. When we simply changed her water to room temperature, within 4 weeks, the color in her feet began to improve noticeably. However, even if you fix the timing and the temperature of your water, there is another problem that most people never even consider. The third mistake is more serious, and it is one that I see causing real damage in my clinic every single week. It is drinking water but completely ignoring your sodium and potassium balance. Here is the truth that is rarely explained to patients. Water alone does not hydrate you properly. Hydration at the cellular level depends on a delicate balance between sodium, potassium, and water. When you drink large amounts of plain water without adequate minerals, you can actually dilute the sodium concentration in your blood, a condition we call hyponatremia. Even mild hyponatremia, which many people have without knowing, causes your cells to swell slightly. When the cells lining your blood vessels swell, the diameter of those vessels decreases. It is like squeezing a garden hose from the outside. The opening gets smaller and less blood can flow through. In your legs, where the vessels are already working against gravity, even a small reduction in diameter can significantly reduce circulation. Let me put this in numbers so you understand the scale. A reduction of just 15 to 20% in effective vessel diameter can reduce blood flow by up to 40 to 50%. That is a massive drop, and it happens silently, progressively, over weeks and months. I had a patient, 69 years old, a man who was incredibly proud of drinking 3 liters of plain water every day. He thought he was the healthiest person in his family. But he ate very little salt, avoided bananas and other potassium-rich foods, and his blood work revealed his sodium was consistently at the low end of normal. His leg circulation was suffering significantly, and he had no idea that his water habit, which he thought was his best health decision, was actually part of the problem. Now we have reached the mistake that worries me most as a vascular specialist. The fourth mistake is something that seems completely unrelated to water, but it multiplies the damage of every other mistake on this list. It is sitting or standing in the same position for long periods without moving, especially after drinking water. Most people think that once they drink water, their job is done. The body will take care of the rest. But that is dangerously wrong. After you drink water, your circulatory system needs movement to distribute that hydration effectively throughout your body, especially to your lower extremities. When you drink water and then sit still for 2 or 3 hours, gravity pulls the fluid down to your legs and feet. But without muscle contractions to help pump the blood back up through your veins, you get pooling. The blood and fluid accumulate in your lower legs, your ankles swell, and the pressure inside your veins increases. Over time, this repeated pressure damages the tiny valves inside your veins that are supposed to prevent blood from flowing backward. Once those valves are damaged, they do not repair themselves. This is how varicose veins begin. This is how chronic venous insufficiency starts. I see patients every week who drink adequate water but sit at a table or in front of a television for 4 to 5 hours straight without standing up once. their legs pay the price. One patient, 65 years old, a retired accountant, drank his water perfectly throughout the day, but spent 6 to 7 hours sitting without breaks. His ankle swelling was so severe that he thought he had a kidney problem. It was purely circulatory, caused by immobility after hydration. But the final mistake is what truly destroys everything, even if you correct all the others. The fifth and final mistake is the most devastating because it is psychological, and it is the one that keeps all the other mistakes in place. It is believing that water alone is enough to fix your circulation, and using that belief as an excuse to ignore warning signs. I cannot tell you how many patients come to my office with seriously compromised leg circulation and say, "But doctor, I drink plenty of water. How can I have circulation problems?" This false sense of security is genuinely dangerous. When you believe that hydration alone protects your circulation, you tend to ignore the early warning signs, the heavy legs at the end of the day, the feet that are always cold, the tingling that comes and goes, the small spider veins appearing on your calves. You dismiss them because you think, "I drink my water, I must be fine." And while you are dismissing these signs, the damage is progressing silently. Veins are losing their elasticity. Valves are weakening. Blood flow is decreasing bit by bit, day after day. By the time the symptoms become impossible to ignore, the swelling that does not go away, the skin changes on your ankles, the pain that wakes you up at night, the damage is often much more advanced than it needed to be. I had a patient, 72 years old, a wonderful man, who told me he had been ignoring heavy legs for over 5 years because he believed his water intake was protecting him. When I finally examined him, he had significant venous insufficiency in both legs that could have been caught and managed years earlier if he had not been lulled into a false sense of security by one single habit. Water is essential, absolutely, but it is one piece of a much larger puzzle. Now, here is the good news, and please pay very close attention because this is the most important part of everything I have shared with you today. None of these 5 mistakes requires surgery. None of them requires expensive medication. None of them requires a radical change in your life. Every single one of them can be corrected with simple, practical adjustments that you can start today, right now, before you go to bed tonight. First action: fix how and when you drink water. Here is the protocol I recommend to my patients. In the morning, from 6 to 12, drink 2 to 3 glasses of water. Start right when you wake up with 1 glass on an empty stomach, room temperature. In the afternoon, from 12 to 6 in the evening, drink 2 to 3 more glasses, spread throughout the afternoon, never more than 1 glass every 30 minutes. In the evening, from 6 to 9 at night, do not stop completely. Drink 1 small glass, about 150 to 200 milliliters, between 7 and 8 in the evening. After 9 at night, only small sips if you feel thirsty. This keeps your blood at the right consistency throughout the entire day and night. Second action: stop drinking ice-cold water. Switch to room temperature or slightly cool water, around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. If you cannot give up cold water completely, at least avoid it in the morning and at night when your circulation is most vulnerable. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you should notice your feet and legs feeling warmer. Third action: balance your minerals. Add a small pinch of quality salt to 1 of your glasses of water per day, and eat at least 1 potassium-rich food daily, such as a banana, a small portion of beans, or a glass of coconut water. This simple combination helps your cells absorb water properly and keeps your vessel walls at their optimal diameter. Fourth action: move after drinking. Every time you drink a glass of water, make it a habit to stand up and walk for just 2 to 3 minutes. Or, if you cannot walk, flex your feet up and down 20 times while sitting. This activates your calf muscles, which act as a natural pump to push blood back up from your legs to your heart. Set a reminder if you need to. Every 45 minutes to 1 hour, stand up and move. Fifth action: stop ignoring warning signs. If you have heavy legs at the end of the day, if your feet are frequently cold, if you see spider veins appearing, if you have tingling or numbness, do not dismiss these symptoms just because you drink water. Schedule an appointment with a vascular specialist. A simple Doppler ultrasound, which is painless and takes about 30 minutes, can reveal exactly how your circulation is doing before small problems become serious ones. Here is your 7-day protocol. Day 1. Adjust your hydration schedule and elevate your legs 15 to 20 centimeters when sleeping by placing a pillow under your calves. Days 2 and 3. Maintain the new hydration schedule and switch to room temperature water. Days 4 and 5. Add the mineral balance and start the movement habit after every glass of water. Days 6 and 7. Evaluate how your legs feel. If you notice improvement, you are on the right track. If there is no improvement at all, see a vascular specialist as soon as possible. Now I want you to think honestly for a moment. Which of these 5 mistakes did you recognize in your own life? Maybe it was the timing, drinking all your water at night. Maybe it was the ice-cold water you love so much. Maybe it was sitting for hours without moving. Or maybe, like so many of my patients, it was that false belief that water alone was enough to keep you safe. Whatever it was, I want you to know something important. You were doing the best you could with the information you had. There is no guilt in that. But now you know. And now that you know, you have the power and the responsibility to make a change. Do not leave this for tomorrow. Tonight, before you go to bed, do 3 things. Adjust your last glass of water to before 8 in the evening. Elevate your legs with a pillow, and flex your feet 20 times. These 3 actions take less than 5 minutes, and they begin the process of change. And please, share this information with someone you love. Send this to your mother, your father, your spouse, your friend, anyone whose legs you care about. You might be giving them information that prevents a problem they do not even know is developing. I am Dr. Ethan Scott, vascular surgeon, and my mission is to bring you information that truly saves lives. Take care of your legs. They carry you through life.